All right, welcome back, everybody. It's been a minute. If you're new, my name is Nicholas. This is Investing Against the Grain. The background may look a little bit different. I don't have my pictures because we moved into a new house. They will be going up shortly. I'll talk more about the new house and all that a little bit here, towards the end of the video. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off talking about FSD, what that means, implications. Then we're going to move into talking about Tesla stock. That's probably going to get a little political because, well, it just somehow is all intertwined. So, if you're too sensitive about that, feel free to, go to the next video now. And then we'll end talking about the economy and, what's going on with me, my house. If you see the lighting change a little bit, also it's because I'm still getting used to this is, a new office and everything. So lights coming in here. I don't have any other light source at the moment because it seemed like it was good. So just bear with me. We're playing, we're experimenting. It's one of the reasons why you haven't seen any videos in a little bit here. All right, with all those disclaimers done, to get this started, you got to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, especially since it's been a minute. Hitting that like button is really going to help. So please hit the like button, share this with other people, and let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off with FSD. Let's talk about this. Have I gotten mine yet? No, I have not. I don't know what is taking so long for me to get it. I've been spoiled. I was one of the first people to get FSD, especially the hardware 4. Now I'm a little envious of all these other people, but it seems like Dr. Know-It-All, my other Gibbs counterpart, hasn't gotten it either. So we are both sharing in the mutual dismay of watching everybody else enjoy this revolutionary next leap in the autonomy progress, the March of Nines. But with that said, there's lots to be excited about. So FSD 12.3, is it hype? Is it real? Is it BS? Well, the truth is I can't give an honest answer about it yet. So what I'm going to speak from is one FSD 12 drive I went on, and then, just touching a little bit about what everybody is saying, what Tesla's saying, what's going on. So let's start off with my little anecdote. So I go to, as you guys know, I'm big into fitness, and there's a CrossFit gym I go to, and at that CrossFit gym, there happens to be a Tesla employee. And this Tesla employee is more on the energy side, and I went up to him and asked him, if he had it, and sure enough, he did. So I kind of forced him to take me for a ride, a couple times around the block. This was with FSD 12.2, I believe. So not 12.3. So, keep that in mind. But I posted about this on X. My first initial takeaway was how smooth it was. I could tell instantaneously the way it started, the way it approached its first stop signs, hanging a right on a blind 4-lane road. It was just very apparent how smooth it was. It even parked for us over at this coffee shop called Bandit. If you've ever seen the Netflix documentary, The Minimalist, the coffee shop that they have in St. Petersburg, that one. Friends of ours who own it also go to our gym. So small world. Anyways, enough of me trying to sell you on St. Pete, where Ark Invest happens to be headquartered. So feel free to come down and join our beautiful city. Anyways, smooth, very, very smooth. But again, that was an anecdote, right? We only went around the block a couple times, so I didn't get a chance to really take it through, all the little edge cases that I experience on a day-to-day basis. Right now, unfortunately, I'm a peasant, and I'm on 11.4.9, which, again, let me check my privilege, if you will. Yashu brought to my attention, was it yesterday, that he doesn't even have it. They don't even have subscription available in Canada. So apologies, Yashu. I'll be sure to understand that other people have it harder than I do out there. With that said, everybody's trials and tribulations are theirs, and mine's that I don't have the latest beta. But with 11.4.9, we are at a point where it's not perfect in the sense of smoothness, comfortability, but it does such a good job in the sense of safety and just kind of taking the toll of driving off of the individual to the point where my wife won't drive without it now. All right. I know everybody talks about the wife test. I would say my wife was a little more extreme than a lot of the wives in the sense that she didn't even want to test it at first. And now she's all about it. Now I would say my wife is way more about it than what I see all these other people's wives on it who are like nitpicking every little thing, who just don't understand that this is the evolution and taking it for what it is as a tool at the moment. So shout out to my wife. She's honestly the best. Anyways, so we use it every day, right? And the only times that we really feel that it makes mistakes would be in weird construction areas. Sometimes if I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but sometimes it takes too long to make a decision on what it wants to do. And if there's people around, whatnot, right, that's when we have to, press on the accelerator. I would say most of what I do is either take over for construction, take over for a parking lot, or, going into the end of the destination, or a lot of accelerator presses here and there just to say, yes, make a decision faster. It seems that with FSD 12 in general, but FSD 12.3, this may all be solved. In fact, that's the common thing we're hearing from every single person out there is that now, the new standard is if I have to do any type of intervention, any type of activity in the drive, it's deemed as a bad drive. So that's a big leap change. And this first started as, the people like Omar from Holmar's catalog, he put it out there. He lives in California, testing it in San Fran, and everybody always has this same critique of Omar's drives, that, it's overfit for California. It only works well for you, or you're on the Tesla, pay. And so you're just saying these things. All that's, kind of BS. Even I would say the overfit for California at this point is a little BS, because they're aware of that potential problem. So they're, overcorrecting for it. That's like saying, it's overfit for Jacksonville now because that's where Chuck Cook lives. I don't think that's really how it works at this point, but I'm not there, so I don't know. It's just speculation. Anyways, it definitely seems like it's a big leap forward because we've gone from Omar saying it, we've gone from Elon talking about how it's such a big deal and how it should be arguably called 13 to the point where it's the same feedback from everybody. It's overwhelmingly the same feedback, that as if almost overnight, all of our little problems or little hiccups are just gone. So I'm really excited to get this. I think this is a really big deal, but what's really big about this isn't even that 12.3 is out and that's solving all these problems. The big deal is that we are now at an architecture at a level where the flywheel can take into effect. So what's the flywheel? The flywheel is essentially this virtuous cycle that can feed back into itself to get better and better and better. It's almost like compound interest, if you will, where it can get exponential. And so we're at a point where now all we need is video examples of edge situations, feed it into so we'll call it Dojo, into Dojo, let it train, take, this huge neural net, let it train on that, which seems like it's taking about 2 to 3 weeks per training set. Then take that, compile, put it into the vehicles, let them test, take those edge cases, and then just keep going, rinse, repeat. No more heuristics, no more how do we solve for this or whatnot. Now it's all they need is the video footage of a given incident. Then they can query the entire fleet for other examples that are similar to that, take that subset of queries, input that into Dojo, let Dojo rinse and repeat, and you just keep going and you keep cranking this out. Now, why is compute so important? Because Elon keeps talking about this. The reason compute's so important is because the more compute you have, that training window goes down and down and down, right? So, or there's also, so we can look at it 2 different ways. On one hand, you can look at it from a time perspective, right? If right now it takes 3 weeks to train FSD on Dojo, Okay, that's 3 weeks. If I add more compute, well, maybe I can get that down to 1 week. Or another way of looking at it, maybe you keep the time duration the same at 3 weeks, but with more compute, now you can increase the volume of data that you're training, right? So you have volume of data and you have time, right? Those are the two potential factors. And it's just going to be fascinating to watch how this progresses. So it seems like at this point, Elon was right, the team was right, that compute is the only limiting factor. And the good news is that Elon is saying that it seems like that is no longer an issue anymore. That seems irrelevant. All right, so I want to go through a couple. Spend a minute here, guys, so bear with me. Let me remember how to share my screen. I'm going to share screen. Let's see. We want to share over here. Let's see what this looks like. All right, let me see if I can zoom in on these without this looking horrendous. Okay, no, that's not going to work. How about we try something like this instead? Much better. You guys don't need to see my face. All right, so let's see. All right, here we have, let me pull this up even better. Oh, that's new. It's been a while since I've been on the desktop version of X here. Okay. So here we have Shriari. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but he's responding to Michael Dell. If you don't know who Michael Dell is, he's the founder, CEO, current of Dell Computers. You remember those commercials? Dude, you're getting a Dell. Yeah, that guy. Isn't it funny? That guy got canceled, all the way back then because he was, smoking something. A little grass. Anyways, fun fact for you. So Michael Dell wrote here, super impressive. Tesla FSD version 12.3 is like a human driver. It is. And he puts a little Yoda gif here saying, amazed I am. So who is Sriyar? Wow, I'm just awful here. Who is this? Well, he is part of Tesla AI. Curious about life, consciousness, and our very existence in the matrix. So what he writes here is FSD 11.x to FSD version 12 is a step change in driving performance, safety, ride quality. You have to be behind the wheel to truly experience the magic. Hardcore engineering efforts have gone into building the next gen end-to-end driving stack. It's just the beginning with more to come. It's just the beginning with more to come in the upcoming weeks. Excited for the future FSD. Okay, so here is what I'm talking about when I say it's either time that's going to come down or volume is going to come up, or it can be both, right? This is a big deal. It's just the beginning with more to come in the upcoming weeks. Excited for the future of FSD. All right, so that's one. All right, remember this. What his message here is like there's a lot more that's going to happen a lot quickly in the coming weeks. Okay, I'm taking you through the lens of how I look at a lot of these things. Okay, so there's that. Let me find this other bookmark out here. Okay, here we go. Here's one from Elon, and again, I don't know how much I like this new way. Okay, he writes, replying to Michael Dell, version 12.4. So we're on 12.3 now. He's talking about 12.4. Is another big jump in capabilities. Our constraint in training compute is much improved. All right, so this goes back to the compute I was talking about. Then if we come down here, let's look at what Ashok had to say. If you're not sure, or if you don't know, Ashok Alaswamy is the essentially head of all of Tesla AI, right, for FSD. So he writes here, motivating to see the overwhelmingly positive response for our latest FSD V12 release. Kudos to the incredible team at Tesla. It's an honor to work with them every day. All right, that's good. Love to see a leader give kudos to the team and celebrate them, so that's great. He goes on to say, this is the first version of FSD that uses neural networks end-to-end, i.e. going from raw camera videos to vehicle kinematics to produce control actions to drive the vehicle. All right, that's great. Notice he says the first version, in other words, many to come. Efforts over the past several months went into making this new approach beat the previous V11 stack, developed over many years. We believe V12 has net surpassed it now, and hence the next set of 12.x releases should bring unprecedented progress. Again, they're all talking about this next level that's to come, right? We're seeing this consistent theme here. We're about these upcoming releases. The fact that there's compute's no longer the constraint, or it seems like it's very diminished, and it seems like we're at a point where this can actually be something that goes exponential for us. So why is this such a big deal, really? Well, because if you think about it, everybody right now is talking about AI, right? The big conversation is Gen AI, generative AI. And so what is generative AI? Generative AI is essentially coming up, generating something new, something novel, right? And that's why ChatGPT was such a big deal, right? It was our first way where everybody could get access to this thing that worked pretty damn well. It could do essays for you, could fix emails, you could ask it for ideas. I even had a friend who had it make new games, and then they would make those games and sell them online. I know somebody who had it write books for them so that then they could sell those books. So it was a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things that could be done. Now you're seeing corporations take similar technologies and create chatbots internally based off of internal documentation, how certain code sets are done. So then it can assist developers based on how the company has developed and based on that individual's way of coding. So there's lots of interesting things that can be done. But up to this point, it's mainly all been about just productivity. There hasn't been any kind of killer app, if you will, from a generative AI perspective. Meanwhile, here we have Tesla with full self-driving at a pinnacle moment where now they see that the only constraint is essentially compute, electricity, right? That's essentially where they're at this point. So where we go from here is very fascinating because every company out there, whether it's a Fortune 500 company, whether it's a small private equity company, it doesn't matter. Everybody's trying to think of how they can incorporate AI into their business, into their lives. Yet nobody's really come out with that killer product, if you will. But here's Tesla. Not only are they doing it in the real world, so off of the computer screen, but they have two huge moats. The first moat is the fact that you need to have electric vehicles, mass productions with all the hardware, all the equipment needed to collect the data. That's the first moat. If you haven't noticed, nobody else is able to do this. We'll get to that in a second. The second moat is the fact that all this data, once you have this data, you have to be able to understand how to create a architecture to build it so it can be virtuous. So all the work Tesla's done up to this point, right, with V11, it's not going in vain. It's what's led to the current architecture that will allow them to just use video to feed in, right? So there's a lot of learning lessons that have gone into that. And so Tesla's in a unique position because while everybody else is trying to figure out how to incorporate AI in some type of way in their companies, and it's all pretty much just on a computer screen, Tesla's doing it by interacting into the real world. They're already selling this. They're already profitable with this. They already have a huge pool of people who can buy this tomorrow and install it in their vehicles immediately. So it's a very profound moment because FSD 12.3 is the worst FSD is ever going to be moving forward. Think about that. It's only going to get better from here. And this is essentially the first version of end-to-end neural nets. So this is pretty mind-blowing. So let's move on to talk about Tesla stock because this dovetails in beautifully. So right now, let's talk about electric vehicles. Where are we with this? Well, Ford can't sell their Mustang Mach-E's. They can't give them away. The Lightning seems to have stopped production. GM, they're just lost. They're just a mess. I think for the last 3 years, I've predicted that Mary Barra would get fired. I mean, I don't know why she hasn't yet, it's kind of crazy to me, but I'm standing by the prediction that they are just falling apart. Toyota is essentially saying that they're not going to get into EVs. Volkswagen, man, they've just gone downhill since Herbert Diess. Fisker, right? I think they're going bankrupt. I think Pulsar got sold off maybe. Rivian, they need to raise some money because if not, they're going to run out of cash soon. Lucid's going to run out of cash even sooner. Neo is pulling out of Germany, I think it was, but essentially Europe. No one wants Neos. BYD's doing well, but they're not profitable with just their electric vehicles. And even if they are, it's barely any revenue or any real net income. So when it comes to electric vehicles, Tesla's never been stronger. All right. You have, so that's one. Okay. And then you have, like I said before, the second moat where it comes to autonomy. So if people can't figure out how to get EVs right and profitable and scale, and they're pulling back and they're starting to go to hybrids because, well, that's her only move. Meanwhile, Tesla's just had this groundbreaking moment with V12.3. I mean, listen, I get it. The stock's down right now. People are down about it. But what a moment. Talk about juxtaposition. Fate loves irony, right? That's the title of this video because it's true. What do we have from the so-called, what I say, pseudo Tesla bulls, pseudo real Tesla investors? I'm talking about the Gerbert Rosses of the world, Ross Gerbert, whatever his name, Ross Kawasaki, whatever his name is. Gary Black. I like Gary. I think he's a nice guy, but I don't think he's a real Tesla bull. I don't think he's a real long-term investor. Meet Kevin, YouTuber, really made all his money off of real estate and Tesla, is now shorting Tesla. So in this world where Ross doesn't get a board seat because, well, Tesla doesn't want him. He's bombastic and just honestly one of the biggest narcissists I've ever seen in my life. My wife says that every time we see something with him on it. We have Gary Black, who apparently thinks Tesla's a bad investment if their earnings are going down, and that means that he can't see beyond that. He can't imagine what FSD could look like. He can't imagine what the revenues will look like until they're real. And what I would say to that is, okay, well, with that same logic, you would have missed the whole 2018, 2019 run of Tesla. You would have missed the whole, 2014 run of Tesla because where's the profits, right? So I think they're missing the point of investing. The point of investing is being able to see these tectonic plates shifting before other people do, or when other people don't, right? I mean, that's the whole point. If you're just looking at what's going to happen next quarter or at the end of the year or even 2 years, then you're missing the forest for the trees, right? That's all you're doing. And that's fine. I get it. Hey, that's their game. They've been successful doing this. Well, sort of. Ross's whole fund is just doing awful. And I would say Meet Kevin is probably not doing that well. I mean, I don't know. He's got his house hack fund thing, which kind of seems a little scammy to me. He's touting about his plane, and he's one of those people that I'm not trying to bag on anybody, but he's one of those people to me who tries to come off as humble, like, oh, I'm not just talking about my jet. I have to have my jet because I go to these places and I can do things. My time is so valuable in this, and he tries to act all humble about it, but it's like, dude, we get it. You're flexing. Like, cool, you have a jet. Like, it's okay. I'd be less annoyed with it. It'd be less douchey if he was like, yeah, I was able to buy this jet. I make a lot of money. I've made a lot of money, and I'm going to enjoy it because I don't want to have to fly commercial and have to wait all the time. Like, at least you're honest and not trying to pretend you're not. Anyways, but these people, the juxtaposition's hilarious. The irony's hilarious. That as they go short, as they sell their Tesla stock position, here we are with FSD 12, right? Everybody's driving it. Everybody's so impressed. And you have a shock. you have Tesla AI engineers, you have Elon. They're all sitting there telling you that this is the first version, that it's just going to get even better in the coming weeks, that compute's no longer the constraint, and everybody wants to sell and short now. So I don't know. I see this as a gift in many ways. We're not done buying. We're still accumulating. We've probably bought shares every week for the last like 6 weeks. So, we're just going to continue to dollar cost average because we see what we think is the future and we drive it every single day. Now, don't get me wrong. Times are tough out there, right? We see a lot of people getting laid off in the tech sector. We're starting to see that spread out to other areas. We might be in stagflation because we are kind of, riding this same kind of 3% inflation rate, and rates are still at 5.5. Fed keeps pushing off the cuts. Can't blame them. Job market appears to be healthy, and somehow we always have these record big numbers only to come back the following month and have them revised down drastically. But, the market doesn't move because of that. It only moves because of the headline number, and that headline number can't even be trusted anymore, which makes me think, can you even trust the inflation numbers anymore? Anyways, the point is we are in a tough place. On top of that, we have a lot of conflict around the world that we're thrusting ourselves into. Whether we should be or not is for each person to make their own decision on that. But the point is we are in these engagements for better or worse, and that's created a very hostile planet at the moment. You throw into that we had Japan was in a recession, Germany is in a recession, China is in a recession. The world is slowing down, and prices are high to borrow money, right? Rates are really high. The housing market is stagnant, right? People really aren't buying houses. At the same time, even less people are selling houses. So it's tough. And without the supply, you're not going to see the price of houses come down. And we have such a backlog of demand for housing. It's really tough out there. And at a 7% interest rate, it's just insane. If you took the 7% interest rate right now for a house, let's use easy numbers. Let's say that you were going to buy $1 million house today. At a 7% interest rate, assuming you put 20% down, you're going to be looking at, like a $4,000 to $5,000 a month, a $6,000 to $7,000 a month mortgage. Meanwhile, that same $6,000 or $7,000 a month mortgage at 7%, if rates were to go down to 4% for real estate, that means you could buy a $1.3, $1.4 million house, right? That's almost a 30 to 40% more house, more buying power that you would have. So this is just taking people out of the market, right? They just can't. It's just so expensive. And the truth is, a lot of these houses that are going for crazy prices, they can get away with it. Why? Because there's more buyers than there's supply. So it's definitely a seller's market in many ways, which, kind of leads into me talking about this place, right? We bought this in January. We spent the last, couple months trying to make it feel like home and doing projects around the house. And, and don't get me wrong, we're not paying a great rate. We got a little lucky where we locked in December at 6.5, but man, that's still a lot of money I'm throwing away. But it's worth it to me, right? Because it's in a neighborhood that we love, and we love St. Pete, and we see it growing, and we think it's just going to be a great investment for the long term. It's going to be another property to add to our portfolio, and we got the other one, cash flowing by a lot, like a crazy lot. So everything lined up for us. But we're fortunate, and I'm not lost on that. Most people aren't in this situation. Most people are struggling out there, and so. When you go back to Tesla and you talk about the stock, it's like, okay, well, is the stock down because Tesla can't sell any vehicles because Elon's tweeting, and Ross Gerber and Gary Black and all these other people are right? That's all Elon, he's buying Twitter and this is the problem? Or is a more logical explanation that, to get a car loan, It's extremely expensive right now. Everything else gotten expensive. People are strapped. People are losing their jobs. People are fearful about this. And so, yeah, it's going to be harder to buy a high ticket item like a vehicle. The same way it's hard to buy a house right now, right? You can make the same argument. So is the reason that, the housing market isn't booming right now because of Elon as well? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I also don't agree with this whole notion that, um, you know, the price cuts that Tesla's done have done nothing. Like these people only have tunnel vision and can only see things from their point of view. They don't know how to open the aperture. Let's look what's happened. Tesla's dropped the price of their vehicles. They've maintained the ability to sell as many as they have, right? What happens if they don't drop the prices? How many vehicles they sell? Is it less? Yeah, it probably is. So the fact that they're able to keep up with the amount of deliveries they have is a result of the price cuts that's brought people in, right? I mean, this is the same example as with autonomy. Well, how many lives does it save? Well, we don't know. It's unquantifiable, right? But what if we didn't have, FSD? Would more people die? Yeah, probably. So it's clearly saved lives. I just can't quantify it. The price cuts has clearly brought more people in. I just can't quantify it because I don't know how many people wouldn't have bought Tesla if the price cuts didn't come down, right? And so that's one avenue to look at the price cuts. The other one is, what's it done to Ford? Well, Ford's not selling anymore, and they're pulling back. What's it done to GM? Well, it's made it impossible for them. What's it done to Toyota? What's it done to NIO? What's it done to Fisker? What's it done to Rivian, Lucid? Like, just look at it. Everybody else is essentially giving up, bowing out, or are about to go bankrupt. That's where we are with EVs. People don't want EVs at this point. They want Teslas, only Teslas. And meanwhile, Tesla's getting stronger. These are the times where companies like Tesla get stronger and stronger. No debt. Their Bitcoin investment's going up through the roof. They've opened up the supercharging network, so now they're going to be getting even more revenue. FSD's just progressing, and all their competition is dying out. So we're in this inflection point where Tesla is going to potentially have a moment of everything clicking, happening at the same time. This moment of all these things, colliding. What do I mean by that? End of 2025 is when we expect the next gen vehicle to come out. Might be a vehicle with a steering wheel and pedals. There might be one without. That's kind of what we're expecting. So that comes out the end of 2025. FSD, we're seeing it right now, people's reaction. Give it 2 more years. Where is that going to be? All this extra compute that Tesla has, are they going to open up their own cloud for training AI? Maybe. When would that come? Well, probably at the end of 2025. At the same time, where are rates going to be during that time period? Where's energy going to be at by that period? We're getting to a point where this is going to be a very big deal at this time. Optimus, what's going to be the progress of Optimus by then? Is Optimus working the factory that Elon says next year? Right? So it's this moment at the end of 2025 where everything's kind of colliding. In the meantime, we have this beautiful opportunity to stack up shares, the way I see it. That's what we're doing, right? We don't know what the future holds. None of this financial advice. But what we do know is what we see every day. And I use FSD every day. I will not get another car that doesn't have FSD. In fact, I won't put my family in a less safe car. It's just not, it's not worth it, right? It's the same way, it's unfortunately, it's like eating healthy food, right? You want to eat healthier foods, but unfortunately, the healthier food is more expensive, right? It's just BS. And you could say the same with Teslas, to be honest. The safest car out there is a Tesla. But for many people, they're too expensive. Well, it's not BS because this is what Tesla aims to solve with the next gen vehicle, right? So they're trying to get it so that everybody can do it, right? It's safety should not be discriminated based on what you can afford. It really shouldn't, right? This should be something that's basic and everybody should be able to have it. In the same way, healthy food, unfortunately, shouldn't be something that's dependent on how much you earn or how much you can afford. So I want to hop on. I haven't spoken to you all in a while. I know this video is going a little longer than, what, people are putting out these days, shorter, clickbaity videos, but I've never been that guy. I've always been someone who just wants to talk, speak my mind. I'll try to put out more videos, in the coming month as things advance. Hopefully, I get my FSD 12.3 soon. Might as well take a quick check. See if nope, still nothing. But if you guys want to see more of me, you can definitely see me on Tuesdays. I'm with Randy Kirk. I joined his channel. And we do, just a little talking about, the economy and Tesla and where things are at. But again, I'm trying, now that we're settled in the house, almost got the office set up. Worked on sprinklers all day today. If you're seeing my fingers and they're all cut up and got dirt under them, it's because I work on sprinkler systems. But yeah, so it's good to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think down below. All right. Are we in an inflection point? Is this a good buying opportunity? Should we be stacking up? Is 2025 can be a big deal, especially at the end of it? Is this FSD a big deal, or is it just more hype? Let me know what you think. Tell me down below in the comments. All right. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like. Share this with your friends. Just offer another point of view, hopefully from someone who you think's a rational mind. All right, we're gonna leave it there. Appreciate all of you. Love you all. Peace.